Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for the week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the heavy metal psychic, and these are the horoscopes for the week ending 5/2/2015. And I just want to say you guys are so awesome. Thank you so much for bearing with me because I know they're a little bit late, but hopefully that doesn't mean that they aren't just as awesome as the horoscopes that have come before them. But in any case, we're going to get right to it, and as always, we're going to get started with Aries. No more planets in Aries except for, of course, that annoying old Uranus that's been stuck there for a while. And his squared position with Pluto really does make it seem like you just never have the time to get the things done that you want to get done. And by the end of the week, the moon moves into position to turn this square into a T-square, where it's really showing you how your thoughts are really ruling how the outcome of the situation is going to be. If you hang on to the frustrations and those things that seem to be holding you back, then it's definitely going to be a lot more difficult to find the time to get the things done that you want to get done and get your priorities in order. But at the same time, Uranus is also trined with Jupiter and also in a very favorable position with Venus. So you've got the help that you need and the support that you need to get things done. So a little bit of delegation might be a good idea to kind of take a little bit of the pressure off. And also, this trine with Jupiter is all about pointing out what you're best at. And you guys are really built for this sort of thing. So success is really defined not necessarily by having everything so perfect that it's handed to you. Success is defined by taking the challenge and stepping on it, making you bigger so you can see farther over the rest of the challenges. So you guys, don't let a little thing like a challenge stop you, because if I know you guys are going to be pretty awesome no matter what you do. And you guys have a great week with that. Taurus, happy birthday to all the bulls born this week, especially a very special bull that's really nearest and dearest to my heart. And we want to say happy 21st birthday to our first and oldest child, Michael. Can you believe it? He's going to be 21. It's ridiculous. So we're going to, in typical Bruce style, send him on a beer run, because, that's how you celebrate your 21st birthday. But in any case, Michael, it's just been an absolute blessing to have you with us for the last 21 years. I can't believe it. And I hope that we can make it an absolutely rockin' birthday for you this weekend. Actually, on the 2nd, the last day of this week. There's a lot of positive and negative aspects going on this week for the sign of Taurus. And we're going to get started with the not so great aspects, as Mars and the Sun are squared with Jupiter all week long. And at the beginning of the week, this is really the strongest part of the aspect because Mercury is involved in your sign as well, along with the moon that's conjunct with Jupiter. So it is going to be a little bit difficult at the beginning of the week, especially when it feels like you just cannot be you when it comes to your career. It's just that feeling that you can't have the job that you want to have. You have to settle for what you have to do. And you know what? That's a bunch of baloney, because anybody knows that you can do whatever it is that you want to do if you put your mind to it. So if someone's telling you that you got to change who you are in order to do something, well, on them, because it doesn't work. And the Jupiter and Mars and their trine with Pluto says just that. It's all about being you and being the best you that you can possibly be. And their trine with Pluto really opens up a lot of time and a lot of freedom in your schedule for you to find what it is that resonates with you and do that for a living. As I always like to tell a lot of people that I work with, find what you're passionate about and your job becomes just a beautiful lifestyle, something that you love, and everybody deserves it. As far as that person trying to tell you that you can't be you, no bull's going to sit down and take that lightly. And I don't think that you guys are either. So you guys have a great week with that. Gemini, Venus is your best friend this week as she forms a grand sextile with Jupiter and Uranus, creating massive possibilities for you when it comes to being yourself, having the support that you need to get things done, and of course achievement of your long-term goals. And this is a magical moment. It's time to let go of the control there, Geminis, a little bit, and allow those that are there willing to help you help out. You don't have to do absolutely everything yourself. In fact, if you try to, chances are it's just not going to work out in your favor. So think about that. You want to be successful, and it is your time to be successful. You've got no negative planetary aspects. You've got nothing holding you back. It's time to allow those people that are presenting themselves to help you. It's time to allow them to show you what they've got and what kind of ideas they've got, and just how much better your long-term goals can be when you allow others in to help you out. Of course, if you get a bad feeling about a certain individual, you don't have to, but that's a certain individual, not shutting out help from everybody. And you deserve to have that help. You also deserve to lead a little bit rather than do everything. So yes, it all starts with you, all of those brilliant ideas, but bringing other people together into it just makes it that much better. And you guys are definitely headed to some awesome stuff. So you guys have a great week with that. Cancer, we're still dealing with the internal you this week. I promise it's almost over. And it is definitely one of those things that it's not everybody's favorite thing to work on, but it's definitely a necessity. I know, you've probably heard me say it about 1,000 times already. But when it comes down to the internal self, it's what we at Grateful Fairy Wings lovingly call cleaning out the closet. You know how you have things that you can't possibly get rid of, but you really have no use for. You chuck them in the closet. And we do this with our own emotions a lot of the time. And depending on how old we are, or how long we've lived on this planet, or even how many circumstances we've been through, because there's a lot of young people out there who are really carrying burdens that are way heavier than they should be carrying at this time. We all have a little bit of that clutter in the closet, or as we call it, a little bit of junk in the trunk. This week, when situations pop up to mimic past hurts or pains, they're doing this for a reason. They're giving you the chance to identify where that root comes from and let it go. And you don't let the situation go because the situation is done. It will not change. What you're letting go of is how you feel about the situation. A lot of us tend to hold on to these past hurts like trophies. This is what made me who I am. And that is true to a certain extent. But it's what you do with that pain that really, really is all about personal growth and evolving in yourself. If you hold on to it, you stand to do damage to yourself, and also you're allowing your insecurities and your internal pain to rule your entire life. Why not free yourself from that by letting it go? And it really is that easy, even though it's a little bit of a difficult process at the same time. Once you get started, once you eliminate it and let it go, guess what? You don't have to worry about that situation popping up to plague you anymore because you're done with it. And I know you want to be done with it. So you guys, good luck with that and have a great week. Leo, the moon kicks off the week in your sign Sunday and Monday, and it's probably causing a little bit of a difficulty for you, especially when it feels as if you're being called out being yourself, especially when it comes to your job or career. And this can be very frustrating and make you downright angry, as it should actually, as Jupiter and the moon are squared with Mercury, Mars, and the Sun all at the same time in the beginning of the week. Now, as the week moves on, this aspect lessens and it's not quite so heavy as the moon and Mercury move out of that aspect. So it really does stay between Jupiter, Mars, and the Sun. But at the same time, his positive aspects with Uranus and Venus show you the support that you have, and it also gives you a little bit of a glimpse of maybe the situation is coming up because it's time to move on. If you're at that point where you're fed up, same thing is happening over and over again, hey, move on. Get out of there, and don't worry about whether or not you're going to find another job that makes the same amount of money or does what it's supposed to, or you have the same lifestyle. Just send it up to the universe. Ask and be open to receive. Don't worry about it, because that's getting in the way of the blessing, and you don't want to get in the way of that beautiful energy flow. that you're looking for. So when it comes down to it, yes, it's going to be a little bit of a difficulty this week, but this difficulty is important. This is the difficulty that says, enough's enough. I love myself enough to move on to something better than what I'm dealing with right now. And I know you guys can do it. So you guys have a great week with that. Virgo. The moon's going to come into your sign this week with a little bit of a difficulty, but a huge grand trine at the same time, which is absolutely brilliant and definitely energy to get things done and move things forward. We're going to talk about the negative aspects before we get into the uber positive ones really quick, though. The moon comes into your sign Tuesday, and through Tuesday and Wednesday does form a T-square when it moves into opposition with Neptune and squares with Saturn. This is a really difficult aspect when it feels like you don't have money. Again, this is the same old pattern. Gosh, how many thousands of times have you been in this pattern? And it's not even that you don't have enough money because you're taking care of your responsibilities. Sometimes your responsibilities are what's eating up your money. Or maybe you're just worried that you don't have enough money to take care of your responsibilities. Now hold up all that worrying there, Virgo, because the moon also forms a grand earth trine for one day on Wednesday, and earth trines are amazing. It's all about getting stuff done. That's what you earth elements are for, is getting her done. So we're talking a trine between the moon, Pluto, and the sun, bringing your career, bringing your time, opening up your time, and changing this old I don't have money pattern into what can I do to make sure I'm never in this situation again. Because that's what you want to do. A lot of people will take that situation and they'll just complain about it and they'll accept it as that's the way it is. It doesn't have to be the way it is. If you don't like the way something is, make a change. Don't give up. Giving up means that you fail. You will never fail if you keep on trying and reaching for what it is that you want. Pretty soon you get to the point where you do what you love to do and not what you have to do. And if that's what's on your mind this week, now is the time to get that process started. So do you want to be broke all the time? Or do you want to put this situation behind you forever? The choice is yours. And you guys have a great week with that. Libra. All the focus is on your thoughts this week. And the moon coming into your sign at the end of the week on Friday and Saturday is really going to come in with a vengeance, unfortunately. As she moves into T-squared position with Pluto and Uranus, making it seem like you can't do what you want to do when so many things that you have to do keep getting in the way. And these are not necessarily things that you have to do that you've put off. They're new things that you have to do that keep coming up to you or being brought to your attention. Mind how you think about this. Do your thoughts actually blow it up bigger than it actually is, when if you just did it and got it over with, it would be done and you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. A lot of times we spend too much time thinking about it, being emotional about it, when we could just make it easier on ourselves and either delegate it to someone else or get it done and move on. Now, the good news is that the moon is trined with Venus, and that's what it's all about, is handing it over to somebody else. The people are there to help you out if you were to just ask for it. You have the support that you need to be able to delegate some of those things, and at the same time have the support that you need in other areas of your life. So it's not just about your career, it's not just about your family, it's not just about any one particular thing. There's something that you want to do and responsibilities are coming in to stand in your way. You really have two choices. Either get her done and move on, or sit and worry about it. Sitting and worrying about it is only going to make it worse. Make it easier on yourself and either do it or send it off to somebody else. And you guys go for awesome this week and have a great week. Scorpio, it's all about the home this week, and whether it's reorganizing the home or changing where the home is altogether, it's all about taking some time to actually dream up what you want this week. Not necessarily the action part of it. Now at times we get really excited, the idea pops in our head and we go, ooh, and then we immediately react to to whatever it is that we need to do. And then we wind up doing it and realize, you know what, it would have been better if I had done this. Take the time to actually dream up what it is that you want and make sure you have all of those things covered. That way later on, you don't have to settle for the things that you didn't want or maybe weren't exactly what you wanted in the first place. You really, truly do deserve to have those things that you want, not just in your home, but in all aspects of your life. So you want to avoid that nagging little voice that comes up in your head every once in a while and says, this is what you deserve, to have nothing. Baloney. Kick that little voice out and go for what you wanted in the first place. So when it comes to making these changes, take the time. Don't just go barreling in and do. Take the time to really sit down and think about, dream about, and envision what it is that you want so that you can make this change exactly the way you want it to from the beginning. I know you guys can do that, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun too. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius. Saturn finds himself in a very difficult T-square between Neptune, Mars, and the Sun for a good part of the week this week. And it's very difficult because this really affects both your career and your bank account, unfortunately. Either you can't go out and do what it is that you want to do, or you don't have the money to go do it. But it really sort of feels like an anchor that's keeping you at home. And this is so frustrating for somebody that's constantly on the go and wanting to do things like you Sagittarians are. But at the same time, these things always happen for a reason, of course. I'm sure people are tired of hearing me say that, but it's true. You need the break from time to time. Either the universe isn't ready for your plans yet, or you're not ready for your plans yet, or maybe what you see and what's about to happen might be a little bit different. Maybe it's even better than you thought it would be. Who knows? The best thing to do is learn a little bit of that patience, as difficult as it may be sometimes, and take the time to yourself. Don't focus so much on your goals and dreams right now this week. Put your focus somewhere else. Take the time to spend that time with someone you love. Take that time to spend it on you. Take that time for whatever you want to do. And allow yourself that rest before everything explodes into the awesomeness that you want it to. Trust me, you're really going to be happy if you took that break, because you're not going to get one later. So you guys have a great week with that. Capricorn. Pluto's squared position with Uranus is difficult all week long, but it gets even more difficult by the end of the week when the moon moves into T-square position with these two planets on Friday and Saturday. And this really makes this feel like you just don't have the time to do all of the things that you want to do. And with somebody who's probably got so many irons in the fire, this can be a difficulty. At the same time, Pluto's trine with the Sun and Mars gives you a beautiful boost of energy and the ability to shine in your career. So this is really where your main focus should be. Don't worry about coming up with new ideas. Just stick to what you're doing right now, because what you're doing right now is working, and it will open up to more new ideas later on. Remember, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. Focus on what needs to be focused on right now, and let everything else wait until things become a little bit easier for you. With the Pluto being in retrograde and that inability to make changes kind of a feel, this is actually in your favor right now, because you need to become acclimated to what you're doing for a while. And this is going to open up the things that you want in much bigger ways later on down the road. So slow yourself down a little bit. Stick to what you're good at. Stick to what's working right now. And don't worry about adding new stuff right now, because there's going to be plenty of time for that later. You guys do an awesome job and have a great week. Aquarius. We're still looking at relationships this week, and evaluation of relationships is always a good idea and definitely necessary. Of course, again, it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to walk away from relationships that might be difficult, but definitely taking a look at why the relationship is the way that it is important. big thing for Aquarians is the fact that generally Aquarians don't show how they feel to the rest of the world. But underneath this very solid exterior is a heart that really does feel things very deeply. So it becomes as a surprise to us Aquarians every once in a while when people seem to be non-feeling towards you, maybe a bit self-centered or maybe a bit disrespectful of your feelings. Truth is, you kind of started this process for yourself if you think about it. If you think that people are only seeing the exterior of you, well, that is the only thing that you're allowing them to see. And they don't know that you actually feel things very deeply. This week, it's all about opening up a bit. If you are having issues in some of your relationships, it's time, actually, it's more than time to actually bring out some of those feelings. Talk about it. Let that person know what it is that they're doing. Now, if you've done that and they don't want to make the change, that's their loss. At least you gave them a chance to actually rectify the situation if indeed they are really hurting you. And if things go the way that you'd like them to, you're actually able to repair and build on that relationship in a completely different or brand new way. So it's a win-win really in either way that you look at it. Because the point is, do you want to keep having somebody hurt you over and over and over again? Or do you want to eliminate that problem? It's a frustration that is not needed, and it definitely disrupts your flow. So you guys have fun with that evaluation. Open up a little bit. It's not going to kill you, and have a wonderful week with that. And finally, Pisces. It's all about money this week, or possibly the lack thereof, especially with Neptune's squared position with Saturn, which turns into a T-square position as the moon moves in to join that aspect about midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday. And this is going to be the sort of difficult part of the week. It really sort of feels like you never have enough money to do the things that you want or the things that you need to do. Your responsibilities are taking it up. All kinds of other things are taking it up. And it really is just the same old it's been forever. But do you want it to be the same old, same old? How about we change that around a little bit? And you can do that easily as Neptune's aspect with the sun opens up your money-making possibilities when it comes to your career. Whether that's extra hours at work or possibly an advancement in the career, you can make money. So take that voice out of your head that says, I can only go so far, because it's making you only go so far. Kick it out and say, you know what? Let the money come, baby, and see what you get. It's not just a 9-to-5 job that'll get you funds. There's lots of different legal ways to make money. Use whatever it is that brilliant mind has to get what it is that you want and to reach those goals that you've been reaching for all of these years. And you guys have a great week with that. Thanks again for watching the horoscopes this week. Once again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Don't forget to check us out on all of the places that you normally check us out. And with the addition of a new Facebook page that's coming out. Actually, it's already come out. If you are interested in anything that Grateful Fairy Wings is doing, go to facebook.com/ILoveGFW and like the page to see what kind of classes we've got going on and what other shenanigans we might have going on at Grateful Fairy Wings. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next week.